Imagine for a moment that everything you know as reality is merely a fraction of what exists. That beyond this body, beyond this world, there are invisible realms, unexplored dimensions where consciousness can travel freely. And you know that one man, without seeking it, discovered the key to access them. Welcome, seekers of the unknown, to the secret threshold. Today, we delve into the life of a man who defied the limits of human perception, Robert Monroe, the father of modern astral travel. His story is not just that of a scientist or a mystic, but of an explorer who, by accident, found a gateway to the unseen. And well, he devoted his life to deciphering its mysteries. It all began in 1958 on a quiet night in Virginia, USA. Robert Monroe, a respected radio producer, went to bed like any other day. But what happened next was anything but ordinary. Suddenly, he felt himself levitating. His eyes opened, but he didn't see the ceiling of his room. Instead, he saw his own body lying asleep in bed. It wasn't a dream. It wasn't a hallucination. It was something so vivid, so real, that it left him frozen in awe. Monroe tried to rationalize it. A heart attack? A near-death experience? But his body was healthy. There was no medical explanation. And the most unsettling part, it kept happening. Over and over, uncontrollably, he began to separate from his physical body, traveling to places that weren't on any map. At first he was afraid. Was he losing his mind? But his scientific curiosity drove him to investigate. If this was real, there had to be an explanation. Monroe was no mystic or esotericist. He was a practical man, accustomed to the world of business and technology. But his curiosity led him to document every experience, like an explorer mapping an uncharted continent. Soon he discovered he wasn't alone. Throughout history, ancient cultures, shamans and mystics had described similar phenomena, the soul leaving the body. The Egyptians called it the ka, the Hindus knew it as astral projection, and in Tibet, monks practiced techniques to achieve it deliberately. But Monroe wanted something more, a scientific explanation. In 1974, he founded the Monroe Institute, a center dedicated to the study of human consciousness. There, he not only researched his own experiences, but also developed revolutionary technologies to induce altered states in a controlled way. One of his greatest legacies was Hemi-Sync registered trademark, a binaural sound system designed to synchronize the brain's hemispheres and facilitate the separation of consciousness from the physical body. Thousands of people reported out-of-body experiences thanks to his methods. But honestly, the most astonishing part came later. Monroe began encountering non-human entities in his journeys. Some presented themselves as guides, others as beings of light, and he even spoke of meetings with facilitators who taught him about the very structure of the universe. Monroe recorded his discoveries in 3 foundational works. First, Journeys Out of the Body, published in 1971, was the book that made him famous. It's a first-person account of his earliest experiences, and he even includes instructions for those who dared to try it themselves. Then, in Far Journeys, released in 1985, Monroe explores higher planes of existence, describing encounters with multidimensional beings and revealing that, well, physical death is not the end of consciousness. Finally, there's Ultimate Journey, his most enigmatic work, written shortly before his death in 1994. This book introduces Focus 27, a dimension where human souls prepare for their next evolutionary step. Robert Monroe passed away in 1995, but his institute remains active today. Scientists, doctors, and even military researchers continue to study his techniques. And you might wonder, why? Well, it's because his discoveries suggest something truly revolutionary, that consciousness can exist independently of the brain. It's a concept that challenges both physics and biology, but if it's true, it would change everything we believe about life, death, and the universe. Some people believe Monroe discovered something he just wasn't supposed to, that his encounters with non-human entities were more than mere visions. Were they extraterrestrials, angels, or maybe something even older and deeper? Others suggest the United States government took an interest in his findings, using his techniques for astral espionage in classified projects. And then there are those who claim Monroe never truly died, that his consciousness still travels somewhere between this world and the next. The story of Robert Monroe leaves us with a haunting question. What if we could all do what he did? What if somewhere between sleep and wakefulness there lies a door to the unknown, just waiting to be opened? If this journey to the edges of consciousness has fascinated you, don't forget to like and subscribe to The Secret Threshold, and make sure to hit the bell icon so you won't miss our next videos, where we'll explore other enigmas, from near-death experiences to the best-kept secrets of the human mind. Because, as Monroe once said, you are not limited by your body, only by your perception of what is possible. Until next time on The Secret Threshold.